Hey Book Dragons, I am so glad that you're here with me today. We're going to be talking about sci-fi and fantasy books that are hidden gems that you may be missing out on because you're just focused on all the bestsellers. So I want you to forget about bestsellers for today, and we're going to talk about some other books that are just as good. All right, so I've got my list right here, and let's get going. Starting with number one, that is The Deathgate Cycle by Margaret Weis and Tracy Hickman. Now, you're probably familiar with Margaret Weis and Tracy Hickman from the Dragonlance novels, and that's great, although I have not read Dragonlance yet. But The Deathgate Cycle is absolutely an amazing series. May not really be a best-selling series, or at least not on the New York Times bestseller lists and the ones that get talked about all the time, but it is an excellent series that is well worth your time. It's a 7-book series. It's a complete series, whereas a lot of other series out there are not complete. It's a complete series. You can enjoy it. I do have a dedicated video that I made for the series, and you can check that out. I'll leave a link to it in the cards on the end of this video. And that's all I've got to say about that one. So let's move on to the second one on my list. And that is a book by James Lovegrove called Sherlock Holmes and the Shadwell Shadows. And this is the first book in his Cthulhu Casebooks series. Now, this is a mashup of Sherlock Holmes and the Cthulhu mythos, as you may have guessed from hearing me name the series it's part of. So yes, it's a pastiche, or a fan fiction, if you will, of Sherlock Holmes, but if Sherlock Holmes encountered real cosmic horror entities, and it's a lot of fun. I have not read the other books in the series yet, but it is a really, really good start to a series, and I have to say, he does the character voice of Sherlock Holmes so well that you would almost think you are reading something by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. So I highly recommend it, and yeah, maybe not a bestseller, but it should be. All right, moving on, we're going to talk about the Scythe series by Neil Shusterman. And this is maybe, I guess, kind of a bestseller. It's a really popular young adult science fiction series, and it takes place in more of a utopia than a dystopia, but it's in a world where AI has virtually eliminated everything that plagues our society. It's eliminated poverty, it's eliminated death, it's eliminated the need to work all the jobs because AI takes care of a lot of the jobs, and so people can focus on jobs that they actually enjoy doing. It's a very unique society, and it really paints a picture of what a benevolent AI could look like. So that's not something you hear about very often. And I absolutely loved the series. It is definitely worth your time reading. And there are new books being written in the series as well. There's a prequel series coming out. And I can't wait. So I highly recommend reading this series, guys. The Scythe series by Neil Shusterman. Okay, next one is the Rook and Rose trilogy by M.A. Carrick. And this is a Victorian-esque fantasy that also gives you the feeling of being in a place like Venice, because there are gondolas and riverboat captains, but you also got a class system, and it's got really cool magic. Some of it is based in a tarot-type magic system, but there's also another magic system featuring pictogram-type drawings. It's really, really interesting. And you've got some dynamic duo vibes with the Rook and the Rose being a dynamic duo, and It even gives me Phantom of the Opera vibes. It's just so unique and so different, and I highly recommend it. It's one of my favorite series. Okay, so we're going to move on to The Dark Thorn by Sean Speakman. And this is an urban fantasy set in England, but also in the world of Anun, or what some books would call Avalon, and it is the Fey realm. And so you've got these parallel worlds running up alongside each other, and the Dark Thorn is a tree from which a sword has been made. And it's also kind of set in the world of King Arthur. There's so much to it that I can't even begin to describe it, so I highly recommend that you check it out. All right, so we're moving on to the Winter Night Trilogy by Catherine Arden. And this follows a young girl named Vasya growing up in old Russia. And it is during the time when the church is coming in and trying to root out the old ways of nature magic and what they would call pagan belief systems. And Vasya is a forest girl. She is in tune with the spirits of nature and of the old world, and she is trying to hold on to her connection with the spirits of nature while the church is trying to root that out. Because of her strong connection to the spirits of nature, she is labeled as a witch and they are trying to destroy her. And oh my goodness, it is just so great. It was really neat to see all of the different elements of Russian folklore brought into a fantasy tale like this. And I think it was masterfully done. It's one of my favorite series, and I definitely think you should read it. Okay, so we're moving on to Kings of the Wild by Nicholas Ames. And if you are a fan of 70s rock and roll and hair bands and Dungeons and Dragons campaigns, you are going to feel right at home in this series. It follows a group of old men who are kind of retired from the mercenary scene, but they come together for one last epic quest to save the daughter of one of the members of their company. And it is very heavily themed around 70s rock and roll and early 80s rock and roll, and it was just a blast. And I am really looking forward, hopefully this year, to reading the second book, which is Bloody Rose. But guys, Kings of the Wild is an amazing ride, and I really hope you check it out. All right, so we're moving on to Dreamer and Muse. This is a duology written by Laini Taylor. The first book is Strange the Dreamer, and the second book is The Muse of Nightmares. And it follows a young man named Laszlo Strange who is trying to find the lost city of Weep. And no one seems to even know about it or be able to even talk about it. It's virtually been wiped from existence out of the history books of the area that he's living in. And he happens upon something that will change the course of his life because it leads him to discovering the city of Weep. And it is just a super unique story full of lots of great action and adventure and romance. Yes, there's some romance in there as well, guys. And don't let that turn you off, though, if you're not really into romance, because it's a subplot. And it's just a really great fantasy action adventure story that features gods pitted against humans and ancient cities that have to be discovered. It's so much fun. I really hope you check it out because it's amazing. All right, and the last one on this list is a newer book for me. I read it last year. It's a self-published fantasy, and it is called Discovery. It's written by J.A.J. Minton. You may know the Mintons from their channel, Talking Story. And this was their debut novel. And it's very hard to describe because it incorporates so many different types of story elements. You've got a little bit of cosmic horror in there. You've got a little bit of fantasy. You've got a little bit of thriller and mysteries. And I think I can confidently say that it's a strong lean into sci-fi, but there are so many other great elements that you just can't necessarily pin it down. But it was an absolute banger for me, guys. I absolutely love Discovery, and if it's not a bestseller now, it soon will be, or it should be, because it's just that good. And I can't wait for book 2. They're writing it as we speak. And, you know, it's a love letter to so many different things. Definitely to Cthulhu and the Lovecraftian mythos. So, you know, that's a very strong element, but everything just works together so seamlessly, and it is such a great read. So that's the end of this list. I hope you have enjoyed this. Let me know in the comments below what you think. Have you read any of these books? Tell me your thoughts on them. Have I put some new books on your radar that you can check out now? I hope that's the case. And let me know some of your suggestions for books that are not bestsellers, but are just as good or better. Let me know in the comments below. And until next time, make sure you read more books. I'll talk with you soon.